I started this video off of finger knitting, and then I realized I rarely know what I'm doing and I don't know how to make anything. So I'm gonna put this down and we're just gonna talk about things that they don't tell you about cold calling. So I'm 21. I literally heard about cold calling from a lot of YouTubers. Like Alex Hermosi spoke about it. I don't know if Layla spoke about it. Like, you know, there are a lot of like entrepreneur YouTubers that speak about cold calling. And so for me, I was like, oh, it doesn't sound that hard. Like when I started my business, I was just like, okay, I think I might just do e-commerce so I don't have to like speak to anybody. That they don't have to get associated with me, so that you can make a sale. Maybe I'll just make ads and then they'll purchase, right? But I had a different idea. I actually had an idea for a business that I loved, and so I started doing. And I needed to speak to people. I've never been a person that gets nervous when speaking to people. I've always been pretty confident in myself and my speech, my rate of speech, my intonation, everything is good, right? So when I was like, okay, yeah, it's just a call, you know, like it's just a call, right? But when it's like a business call, it's actually really different. Like people don't tell you about that first call that you make and how bad it's gonna be. Like I remember the first call I made, it was to this one, you know, company. I called and I was like, hi, how are you? And he was like, good, how are you? I'm good. And I didn't know what to say. Literally not a single word. And then I was like, I'm calling because I have like a business. And he was like, okay, and you could literally, guys, like he was like, you could literally hear his neck roll through the phone. I'm telling you. He was like, okay, and I was like, yeah, we and he was like, okay, tell me, okay, get to it, what? And I think he could have been interested, but the way it just came off was like the complete opposite, like I'm telling you. So he obviously that call didn't go well. I didn't lose my temper, but I just got really shy. And I was like, oh snap, like I don't think I'm good at this. And I was scared. I wasn't scared, I was just like, I just don't know if I. And the moment I was like, I just don't know, I was like, hold on. He said no, not everybody says no, right? So I was like, all right, you know, no's are one step closer to a yes. So I picked up that second phone call, because I was sitting next to my boyfriend. I started the business in my dorm with my boyfriend, and it's not his business, it's mine. But you know, I was next to him and I was like, I want to do cold calls, and he went to go get his food and he wanted to listen, and I had such a good call. Like I think my second call was pretty decent. I didn't really know what I was saying. I didn't know what to say either, but like the lady was so kind and she just listened. And she was like, oh, sweetie, like, thank you for calling, but we're just not interested right now. And I was like, okay, thank you for answering. Thank you for listening. And she was like, no problem. You're doing really good. And I think sometimes like, she asked about the business and I was like, oh, well, I just started it like today, you know? And she was just like, well, you're doing amazing. Just keep going, you know? But right now we're just not in the market for that, right? And she was really, really sweet. I really appreciated that. And so, you know, I just kept making calls. And my first day, I got like 4 yeses and like 15 no's. 15 no's. And it was cool, right? But like the thing is that it didn't translate to a sale. And I'll tell you why, right? So it didn't translate to a sale because I wasn't like, I was very on it, okay? But I didn't have myself together. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even have a clear path on what I was doing. So they would ask questions that I can't even answer, and I'm the owner of this business. So I don't know about you, but if you're a business owner and you're trying to pitch something to me and you don't even know what you're doing, I'm not giving you my money. And that's understandable. That's very fair because I think God didn't allow me to get that because he knew that I didn't know what to do with it. I wouldn't have known how to handle it. And I wasn't prepared. God's timing is always right, so not everything is going to translate immediately. You have to grow and know what you're doing and understand what you're doing, and that's foundational because I didn't, But yeah, so I kept making cold calls, and I changed my angle. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do such and such, right? I'm gonna go from just providing to providing a service, right? And so I'm like, dang, now I have to restart, right? And I didn't mind restarting because the thing is, people don't remember you. You're just one cold call and they probably get a bunch, right? It's okay because sometimes they do remember you and they're like, oh yeah, like I remember this, like I really like that idea. And I'm like, yeah, but we've decided that we're adding this on. And for some reason, this service everyone loved, but I just could not land a sale on it, right? Because they're like, oh, that sounds great, as long as they don't have to pay for it. And honey, you do. How much would it be a month? It's every quarter. It's like $2,500 a month, or $2,500 every quarter. At first, I had it as $500 a quarter, and I couldn't even get that sale. And then I was like, what I'm doing requires more money. How am I going to service you properly if I don't have the, proper funds for it, right? And I was even thinking about taking out of my, my commission on the back end of what I was doing. And I was just like, oh, yeah, no, that's not going to work. Because what my goal isn't just to take their money, right? It's to provide a good service, but it's also like I should also be able to make, my income on what I'm providing, right? And I should also be able to make an income off of the service that I'm providing. I shouldn't have to cut out of one in order to properly run the other. That's not what you do. You're just going to be in a negative, right? So, yeah, I just could not land a sale on it. There was this one company that was really interested. Everyone was interested. They were like, oh yeah, we want to do it. And then I didn't reach back out. Oops. Lack of follow through on my part, lack of communication on my part, lack of organization on my part. There was a lot of things that I could have done better to land that sale. But now, fast forward to today, I'm not doing that anymore. I tried social media. Well, it's not like I tried. Like I posted on social media for it, but I just didn't. It's not like I couldn't. I just didn't. I'm still not very consistent with it, right? The one thing I'm very consistent with is my cold calls. And cold calls have been working more than social media has. Granted, a lot of these companies do have a social media basis, and a lot of them are like faceless companies. So like, it's like, oh, we have other people doing this and other people doing that, and it's just like not personable, right? And for me, I'm trying to grow a personable brand, but I'm not saying I can't reach out to my target audience through social media, but what I am saying is when I'm working, they're working. So if I start at 8 a.m., they're up at 8 a.m. and they're working until 9, 10 p.m. And because they're working all day, they're not on their phones, right? And so social media, they might scroll a bit, but they're working. How are you going to find me if you're working all day, So for me, it's like I have to call. When we call you, I'm going to reach out to you, and we're going to ensure that you get this, get this service or get this product. But that's the only way that I can really reach out to them, because when I'm working, they're not scrolling, unless it's Monday, Sunday, Saturday. So it's just like, I don't know. Second thing they don't tell you about cold calling is that depending on who you're reaching out to, or depending on what your business does, a lot of the times you're going to run into an employee you're just gonna run into an employee at the beginning of that process. For me, when I first started, it was like, I'm having these great conversations with these employees. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But when you're having an amazing conversation with an employee, that's not translating to their boss. Their boss doesn't know you, and that company does not know you, right? So I can have an amazing rapport with this employee, but when they hand me over to their boss might not even respond to me, right? Oh yeah, she's been talking about this. She's so interested. We would love it. Da da da. She says she's interested. Da 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 da. And then when it comes to us communicating, there's literal radio silence, right? And you know, for a little bit, it's like I would reach out every day, literally every day, and then it'd be like, oh yeah, well she's busy right now, or you know, she can't come to the phone right now, or you know what I mean, just send an email. And when I send the email, she doesn't respond, but they respond. But I'm like, okay, what about her? You know what I mean? So employees are not decision makers. Please, I'm telling you, employees will be your biggest downfall if you think your relationship with an employee is going to get you in good graces with their boss, or it's going to land you a sale. An employee is not going to land you a sale. Interacting with employees is important. You need to be positive, kind, personable, and all the things, right? But what you need to understand is that an employee is never going to get you a sale. They're going to be your biggest blockage, because an employee's job is to protect the time of their boss, and they're going to speak to you as much as they can. They're going to try to help you as much as they can, but they can't do what their boss can do for your business. And number 3, you don't need to call 50,000 times to land a deal. After a certain point, you're just being annoying. For me, there was this one business I was in contact with, and it was just, they were so cool, right? And they would tell me that they were so interested, and it was just like, okay, I'm gonna follow up. Okay, I'm gonna follow up. And then I follow up and follow up and follow up and follow up and follow up. This is borderline harassment. I don't think you should do that. It looks bad on your business, right? And granted, if they wanted to follow up, trust me, they would. So you don't have to continue to reach out to people that aren't interested. Granted, give them 2-3 emails. I'm just gonna say 5 emails max, and then 5 calls max. You can get 5 emails and 5 calls, and then after that, I'm gonna say you're harassing them, because a lot of times, people forget. You give them grace. People, they get busy. They thought they responded. You give them grace, right? But when someone is like, oh yeah, I saw your email. When someone's like, oh yeah, I saw that. Oh yeah, I saw it. They don't want it. So you need to leave them alone and go on to the next person, because they're just not gonna, you're not gonna get anything out of them, and you can't force anything out of them. So that's where that patience comes in. 4, I think a lot of gurus on YouTube talk about booking a meeting, and I don't think you need that. I actually think that's a really big waste of time. You guys are getting so excited when you see these videos of people saying oh, watch me book this sales call in 10 minutes. Watch me book this da-da-da in 10, oh, I saw this title. Watch me book 10 meetings in 10 hours. You wasted literally 10 hours of your day trying to book a call. Are you crazy? I could have, I could make 25 calls. 25 calls, and what? Depending on how hard it is to get to who I need to speak to, or depending on how hard, 25 calls in 3 hours? 6 hours? 6 hours max. 25 calls plus in 6 hours. I remember this one time I booked 15 meetings in 6 hours. And then I was like, dang, the time that I'm taking with these meetings, I could be making more calls. Why am I making these calls? We can correspond via email. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I can do a follow-up call. We don't need a meeting though. I'll send you the paperwork when you need it. It's not about the meeting. You don't need a meeting in order to land a sale. Okay, those two things, it's like, no. It's like I don't even know who brainwashed you guys into thinking this stuff. It's that one guy with the haircut. Like, I think you know who I'm talking about. He will literally sit there and say in your face, you need to book these meetings, you need to book these meetings. You don't need a meeting, okay? You really don't. Like, you have a good pitch, you're clear, concise, and confident in your words, right? Oh, I'm interested in this. Send me an email with more details. That email is your meeting. They sit, they read. They don't need to waste their time in a call, and neither do you. So they read the email, okay, yay or nay. Yay, send me the paperwork. You know, I really love this, but we're just not in the market for it right now. Okay, cool. Back to my calls. You know what I mean? You don't need a meeting. It's a waste of time. What else? A lot of companies are now expanding into AI. I think I said this in the beginning. Well, that was my other video. A lot of companies are now expanding into AI. And in the industry that I am, a lot of them aren't even picking up their phones anymore. They have a message box saying, hey guys, we no longer answer our phones because we're doing awesome things. What do you mean by that? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, dude, what the heck? And so, like, I'm speaking to a robot. I'm talking to a robot. And the thing is, they don't even have an email available for me to contact. I have to speak through this robot. I'm not mad. I'm just saying it's not personal. I can't speak to you. We can't build a rapport. I can't get to who I need to get to if you don't answer your phone. And it's a blockage. It's fine, right? It's just going to be really difficult. It's going to be way more difficult. And I'm getting a lot of calls. Like today, I made a lot of calls, and a lot of them had that robot. And I'm like, okay, so who do I talk to? You know what I mean? I'm literally saying, I need a human to this robot. And you know what the robot says? Yeah, but they don't answer their phone anymore, so I can help you. Girl? Ma'am? It's a blockage, right? And so, depending on your industry, it'd be a lot more difficult to get in the door, get that, call in or build that rapport, get the information for an email. It's just more difficult. It's more difficult to follow up, because if I'm trying to follow up and I don't get you, say you don't check your messages for 10 days, we are 10 days behind. We could have closed that, or you could have already told me no. I'm just saying, AI is difficult. What else? You need to be very organized. So when you're making cold calls, especially if you're doing nationwide, I need you to listen to me. You need to be more organized, okay? You need to make sure that you have a Google Sheet. You might be like, why, right? I started off with pen and paper, and I was just writing down. And I also had a Google Sheet, and I was like, because for me, I'd be making cold calls outside. I don't want to bring my computer and it dies outside, right? So I have my computer set up, charging. I'm outside making cold calls. When I make that call, check X. Yes, email, number, name. Email, number, name. You need to email, number, name. Be organized. Who's the owner? Who do I need to speak to? Who do I need to get in contact with, right? So their email, their number, their name. And this is all in one sheet. Nationwide people, just listen, okay? You need to be even more organized, okay? Say you're doing different states. Say you're doing East Coast, or say you're doing West Coast, right? You need to be whole nation, okay? Because I'm doing that, right? Google Sheets, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, you know what I mean? A different sheet for different states. You have no idea, you have absolutely no idea how many businesses have the same name. I'm gonna say that again. You have no idea how many businesses have the same name or something very close, okay? So what you need to do, have a different state with different sheets, right? And you can all do it in the same thing. You can say target blank. And then at the bottom, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas. I skipped Alaska, but Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, right? and you just make sure it's all organized. You can click between tabs. Oh, I'm in Alabama right now. Oh, well, Alabama's asleep now, or Alabama's not working. Let me go to California, So it's just, let me hit up Texas. Let me hit up Colorado, right? So you just want to make sure that you are organized. And I'll say this, you need to be even more organized, because say you don't listen to my previous advice about that meeting and you say, yeah, we can book a meeting for 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then you speak to someone in Pacific Standard Time. Yeah, we can have a meeting at 11 o'clock. No. Yeah. Eastern, yeah, I was right. You don't want to sit and like overbook yourself, because for me, I'm like, hey, by the way, and this is when I was making meetings, right? And so just take my advice, just listen to me, open your ears. Hey, what time zone are you in? I want to make sure that I don't overbook myself. Okay, sure, we're in the Central Standard Time. We're in the Mountain Standard Time, or whatever they call it. Mountain Standard Time. And it's not the same. It's not even 30 minutes off. It's an hour, right? So just that little hour can just ruin it. I remember this one time I was freaking out because I was like, wait, I booked a meeting in Eastern Standard and Pacific Standard, and I don't, you know what I mean? I'm freaking out. My minutes were 30, like my call, I think 30 minutes apart, an hour apart, right? So like, you don't want to cut it close. You want to give yourself time to breathe, time to calm down. You don't need to be in meetings back to back to back to back. You're wasting your time. What's next? Don't get discouraged when you hear no. Okay? And this is like such a simple thing, but like hearing no so often can definitely be very draining. And it can be like, oh man, like it's not working. And definitely don't get discouraged if you get yelled at. I remember there was this one call with this lady, and she was like, yeah, I love it. Send over the contract. I sent over the contract. I call back the next morning. Remember, I give them like 30 minutes to an hour to like settle in. I called. I was like, hey, how are you? I spoke to her employee. Can I speak to Miss, you know what I mean? And she was like, yeah, sure. So she brings the phone to her, and the lady that she knows, I don't even think she knows I'm on the phone. But she was like, the moment she said it was me, she was like, no, I don't want it, I don't want it. Like she was being tortured. And I was like, you know, what the heck? So, then she got the phone. She gave the phone. She was like, but ma'am, she's on the phone. She was like, just give it to me, whatever. She gets the phone. She's like, actually, I don't want it. Leave me alone. Bye. Okay. You don't have to have it. You're free, But like, don't get discouraged by stuff like that. People are gonna make their decisions. They're gonna act in the way that they want to act, and I need you to understand that one person's behavior is not a reflection of your character, or a reflection of your business, or a reflection of you. So just because someone says no or someone's upset, people have bad days all the time, and they take it out on others. It's not your fault. You're just the person that they have the opportunity to yell at that point. So just don't get discouraged. Every no is one closer to a yes, So it's not bad. It's just like, okay, thanks for the no. I get to go get my yes now, So just don't get too discouraged. I know it can be hard sometimes, but it's not that bad. So I know that I said I would be finger knitting. I made a circle, and I didn't finish it, but I finished the video. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it informative. If you liked it, please like the video. Comment down below what you would like to see next. I have been thinking about recording my cold calls, and I will say the only difficulty with that would be recording my cold calls. And you might be like, why? The reason it'd be very difficult to record my cold calls is because I would have to bleep out most of what I say. Yeah. So like, you can hear it if you want, but you just have to understand that it's going to be a very choppy, muted, not muted because I'm going to make it sound over it, video, you know? So I just have to let you know that in advance. Still, you can let me know. If you want to know, if you want to have like a script or something, I'm not going to sell you a course or anything. You can just ask in the comments. I'll give you a quick script for whatever business you have or whatever ideas you have. And if you want like an email script or something, I can write that up too. It's not hard, but I will say that you should just make the call. You know what you need to do, so go do it. Pick up your Bibles, seek first the kingdom of God, and everything after will be added on to you. So pray, speak to God, and work. That's all you really have to do in life. Don't worry about anything. Everything will be taken care of. Anyway, it was great talking to you guys. I hope you liked the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I don't, whatever the YouTubers say. Okay, bye.